Okay, so for the flowers, what we're gonna do, we're gonna give them a bit of movement. They're flat right now. So you see from here to here, it's the same light, same color, same value. The whole thing, same thing with that one here. So we're gonna make them kind of, give them a bit of shadow in certain areas so we can bend some of it or some part of this flower. So I mixed here, and you don't have to mix all these colors. So yeah, I mixed here cadmium red medium and ultramarine violet with white. Now you could add a bit of cadmium red light if you like, but whatever you have is fine. Cadmium red medium, white, ultramarine violet. And I made it into a glaze. So it's not thick. This is thick right there. Can you see what I'm?
No, can't see it.
So this is thick. This is glaze. So I added more water. What I'm going to do is, let's see, take that one here. That's like a round, flat right there. And glaze the top part, half of it. That will make this look like it's bending, and keep that one down here light. Yeah, light. So same here. I'm gonna take this color here, glaze and keep the bottom one light. It just makes it look like it's bending. So that's why it's darker up here and lighter at the bottom. Let's try one. Let's try that one. And we don't have to do all of them, but even if you just go over it, just kind of with your brush. Anything that you find, if you find anything that looks flat, it's looking flat because there's too much highlight, too much white in it. That's why. I'm going to take a bit of white and pink. Highlight this one here, just the bottom part. Just a bit, not much. You know, you don't have to do much. It's just a kind of a free, kind of beautiful, loose painting. We don't want to overdo it with detail. You can see at the bottom part there aren't any kind of flowers in there. So we put enough at the bottom if we're actually following the reference. The next step is, now we're going to work with greens. I'll wait for you. Finish the first step, and then we'll move on to greens. Okay, so now we're moving on to greens. This is sap green, Naples yellow, cadmium yellow light, and we have reds in here if we need to add some red to the green to change the color of the green. And then we have white. So the first thing I'm going to do is mix sap green and Naples yellow. Now, if I want it to be more on the yellow side, you know, like this is kind of a minty color, I could bring a bit of the cadmium yellow light, add it here, wet my brush, make my color a bit kind of wet. I'm using a round brush. This is I can try that one and see how it goes. Yes. I like when it's glazed a bit. First of all, the brush, it's easier to make a line with a glazed paint.
That's true.
Right? It doesn't, and what it does as well, it when it's dry, it fades. It's not heavy. So it looks like, you know, it looks like it's in. There's depth.
It's in the mouth, yeah.
Right? So I'm going to do some shapes in here, different shapes. I'll just take in different directions, add some greens in here. So what I'm doing is straight line or, you know, on an angle. And then I'm going to bring in movement like this one here, stop. There. Now, we are going to add different textures soon with the greens. We don't want you know, we don't want it to be one texture. So now I'm changing my brush stroke. Before I was doing this. And I'm going to go back to this as well. But for now, I'm going to change a bit and I'll show you, because I like the different textures. I like to create different texture in something like this, because this is what it is. It's all about texture in here. There's nothing else. And all of a sudden, what we're filling this part, bottom part. I'm going to take a bit of sap green now. Just put a touch of red in it. That would make it more olivey. It's an olive green. And highlight it with yellow. This will change my green from the mint green that I was using into more like an olive green. Gonna make a couple of larger leaves in here, bigger leaves here and there. This is ultramarine violet. I'm pushing it in with some sap green to give this part some depth. Okay, now I can go back, pick up some green. Just playing around with different yellows and different greens and let me fix this one a bit too flat. This is purple, so ultramarine violet and ultramarine violet and white. And I'm just going to introduce a bit of purple in here at the bottom. Just here and there. It's nothing. It doesn't represent any kind of specific flower. Just color. Let's add a bit of white with this green. Just come back here and soften all these things, all those. Just kind of a bit of a softness in here. And there's no need to add a lot of detail in here. And I'll show you in a minute. I'm going to be glazing some of these areas in the back here, because this is further away. I know I put that green last week, but now I'm going over it. I'm not going over the whole thing. I'm just leaving some of that green showing. I just want a bit of kind of a texture in here.
Can't see that part of the canvas.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
That's okay.
Thanks for letting me know. Okay. Okay. See, that's this part here. That's what I'm trying to do right now. So I'm going to go over and bit more right here. I like this green. This green I had last week. I think I used a bit of blue in there, and I really like it because it's just changing the greens that I have here. It's making some bluish greens in here as well. So that's perfect. That's awesome. Let's take that. That's good. And a bit of glazed green right now, and I'm just gonna go in and fill some darks in here. Those gaps of dark, almost black in there, and make them softer.
Oh.
Let's push some of them behind some leaves, some of those these flowers. It's all different textures. That's all I'm doing. I'm just putting different textures in here. Okay, now I'm going to bring in a bit of yellow. There's too much green happening in here. Some yellow will look good. Right, so we're going to glaze some areas in here to push some of these dots and patterns and textures that I've created in here. I'm going to push some of them back by glazing over. So they look like some of them are in the far back, some of them are in the background, some of them in the foreground. So what I'm doing is green, any green. I mixed, I avoided mixing with Naples yellow because Naples yellow is opaque. So what I did is I took some sap green, cadmium yellow light, a bit of white, and I added water to make a glaze. And I'm just gonna go in and see if there's an area where I don't want to show it too much. I'm just gonna glaze over it. You can still see it. You can still see that.
Mm.
You can still see all of those dots and patterns that I've created there, but it's just pushing them and toning them and making them softer.
Oh.
Much, much better.
So it's mainly the background you're doing, not the flowers?
Mainly, yeah, mainly around the flowers.
flower.
Well, I mean, some of the little flowers are going to be pushed back,
Kind of push,
especially
yeah.
in this area here, right there,
Mhm.
see, right
Mhm.
there. Some of the little ones are going to be pushed back. The big ones were there on purpose, big. I don't want to push the big
Right.
ones back.
Yeah.
But the small ones, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm using a small brush, not too wide. I'm going to keep some of the darks
Mhm.
showing, especially the bottom part. But see how softer it is right now. It looks much nicer and much softer, much kind of not as busy as before. Although I like the busyness of this painting. I love it. I love that. Now I did lose some of the flowers in here, so I'm going to put them back. Not all of them. I lost a bit, but the other thing I'm going to do is take green, mix any green, white into the green, into my green. There are some beautiful kind of wild flowers in here. I don't know what they're called, but you can see them. They're here, these ones.
Those are cosmos.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is what I'm doing right now. I'm just putting these flowers in here. Plant. What is it? Are they flowers?
They're all part of, they all look like cosmos to me. Just different varieties.
So this is more textures, what I'm doing right now, just a bit of texture with these light green, so we can see them. They're long. So what I'm doing is building up layers. So I built up the first layer. It has kind of different uh, pattern, dots and colors, and then I pushed back some of it to the back, and now I'm adding this in front. And if you need to add, a lot of white, that's okay. Go for it so you can see it. You can see those shape. This is a lot of work.
Mhm.
Is anybody watching First Lady on Net Crave?
Yes.
Yeah,
Isn't it great? I think I've seen I think I'm at the end though, because do you think there's gonna be more added on later?
Wait, ladies, let me stop recording.
Oh,
I'll stop
Yeah.
recording this part. So I'm adding kind of bigger leaves here and there, because what happened is there's a lot of kind of small ones right now, like small thin lines in here that I've added. So I'm just going to cancel some of these lines with big leaves. Good. I'm just using a round brush and it's working. This is thicker brush strokes right now. I think having thicker actually paint. I think having some thick paint in here at this point, at this stage, is a nice touch, because not everything is fading in the background. You can see some strong brushed, some paint, some strong brush strokes, thick ones, and it needs that. It's very hard to get a thick paint with acrylics without using some mediums, some kind of thickener, like some kind of a gel or all right. All right, this area down here is still a bit too dark. It should be dark, but not kind of an empty black. It needs some heavy parts, heavy paint here and there. Okay. Okay, good. Much better. Although on the monitor, you can't see that these areas are softer now, where the black area.